There's a lot of talk right now about whether or not you should convert your 401k, your IRA into a Roth IRA, and whether or not that would make sense from a tax standpoint. And it's one of those things where if you ask 5 people, you get 5 different answers. Some will tell you absolutely not. You'll do much better leaving it in your pre-tax money account because your taxes are also making money. Others will say it makes sense to convert it to tax-free because then it's going to be tax-free the rest of your life. But what we have is most people, as they've worked their entire lives, they get into their 50s, their 60s, they got a big chunk of money in a 401k or an IRA from a work plan that they've built over the years. They could have $1 million. They could have $5 million in this account that has not yet been taxed. And it is going to be taxed at some point. So do we want to get ahead of that? Do we want to make decisions now that will affect us down the road in a better position? I'm going to show you. I thought I'd make it easy and just show you the difference between how a pre-tax account, a traditional IRA or a 401k works versus a Roth account. We're going to put the same amount of money in each one, and I'll show you exactly how they function. And there are some other differences later that will become apparent on where you need to be ahead of the game on whether you have Roth money or whether you have pre-tax money. So I'm going to show you exactly how that works. We're going to work off a chart that I made in another video. I just did a video recently. If you haven't seen this video, make sure you go look for it, where I break down tax brackets and I also break down Medicare IRMA. Medicare IRMA is going to jump up and bite a lot of people when they come into retirement. They're not prepared for it. And what IRMA is, it's an increase in Medicare premium. So Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D have a premium. That Medicare Part B premium right now is $185 for the lowest income level, but it is income adjusted and it can go as high as $629. So from $185 to $629 would be ridiculous if you're not prepared for that. So I'm going to show you also at the end of this how it functions with these two choices. But right now we're going to look at this tax bracket chart. And again, it's a little complicated. Watch the other video. I break it down very easily so you can understand all these different things so you know what's coming and when it's coming. But right now for this example, and we're going to keep this simple, I'm going to be in the 24% tax bracket. So we're going to treat this as if we are in the 24% tax bracket. Probably quite a few of us are in that bracket, and it can fluctuate, you know, where you are in life, but that 24% is what we're going to play with right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to take $100,000, we're going to put it in a 401k, or we're going to put it in a Roth account and see exactly how it functions. So when we're looking at this chart, and you can see where you need to fit in on that 24% tax bracket. So we're going to go to the 2 different accounts. We're going to put that $100,000 in the 401k, so it's pre-tax money. So the entire $100,000 goes into that traditional IRA or 401k. But in the Roth account, we're going to have paid taxes on it. So only $76,000 is actually going to go into the Roth because we have paid $24,000 in that 24% tax bracket going into the Roth. So it seems pretty, you know, there's an advantage there right from the beginning. So we need to see exactly how this is all going to break down. And then what we're going to do from here, again, we're going to keep this simple. We're not going to talk about percentages or returns or things like that. For most people in the finance world, they will tell you you should double your money in 7 years. So a 7-year time frame, whatever investments you're in, you should double your money. So we're going to go with that. We're going to look to double our money. We'll assume we're in whatever stocks, bonds, mutual funds there may be. And in 7 years, our money is going to double. So 7 years later, we now have $200,000 in the Roth or in the traditional, but we only have $152,000 in the Roth IRA. So again, you can see a significant difference in these two categories. But these are still in the accounts. We're not using this money, but now we're going to start to use this money. We need this money and we want this money. It's our money. So we're going to start to use it. So we're going to withdraw the money from these two accounts. And what's going to happen is when we withdraw it from the traditional IRA 401k, we have to pay taxes. We have to pay that 24% tax on that money. When we withdraw it From the Roth IRA, we don't. It's tax-free. We've already paid the taxes a long time ago. So what happens is it comes out to be exactly the same thing when we go to use the money. So a lot of people don't get that. They think that leave it in the 401k or the traditional IRA because you're tax deferred, that money is going to grow quicker, faster, larger. But when it comes time to take it out, you're paying the same taxes. Now, let's understand that that's assuming we stay in that 24% tax bracket. So that's something that we're going to need to figure out on our own. Are we staying in that 24% tax bracket as we go? A lot of us, as we get older, we make more money. We have better scenarios. Our business has grown. We're making more income. So we may very well go from that 24% tax bracket up to the next bracket, which is the 32% tax bracket. And if that's the case, if you put your $100,000 in while you were in the 24% tax bracket, you would have paid it when you did it in the Roth at 24%, but now you're at the 36%. When you take it out of the traditional, it's going to bring you down to $136,000 instead of the $200,000. And the Roth still has $152,000 because it's tax-free. You've already paid the taxes a long time ago. God forbid you're very successful and you're doing very well. Now you're in the 37% tax bracket. A lot of people are in the 37% tax bracket. If you have a huge balance in your traditional account, that's going to bring your $100,000 investment to 126 versus still having 152 in the Roth. So you can see there that it matters what tax bracket you're in. Now understand, it works the same going backwards. If you're going backwards in your tax bracket, you will do better in the traditional and the 401k than you will in the Roth. If you paid into the Roth at a high tax bracket and you go backwards, but a lot of times people, especially high earners, are going to continue to be high earners even throughout retirement. They have fixed kind of income sources coming in that are still going to be there, that are still going to come likely until you die. And so you're likely going to be in the higher tax bracket as you continue to age. Now, some people absolutely work, retire at 65, shut off the income, and their tax bracket will lower. And in that case, if that's what your plan is, then you likely do want to stay in the traditional 401k IRA plan because it'll work to your advantage if you can get yourself into a lower tax bracket in retirement. But lots of people in retirement, they don't want to be in a lower tax bracket. They want to have money, use money, make money. And again, there's a multitude of things that count towards the money that determines your tax bracket. Make sure you watch that other video. I break that down on all sorts of different income things that happen that can get you to where you're in whatever tax bracket you're in. Now, another difference between these two accounts, and this is a big one, this is why I'm talking about this, is traditional account is subject to required minimum distributions and IRMA, Medicare IRMA. The traditional IRA 401k, as you withdraw money out of it, will apply to your gross income that will affect your required minimum distributions and your Medicare IRMA. It can cause that Medicare premium to go all the way from $185 a month all the way to $629 a month, again, if you're a high earner. So what you need to understand with a Roth IRA, it doesn't affect the required minimum distributions or the IRMA with Medicare. So with a Roth IRA, you don't have to worry about any of that. Everything's already been taxed a long time ago. It's not counted as income now, but it's your money. And the growth that you're going to make that's being invested is also tax-free. And after 59 and a half, you can use it any way you want to use it at any time you want to use it. So it makes a lot of sense, at least if you're not going to convert a large part of your traditional plan, certainly some of it. And certainly I would convert more than less. And again, you need to think about if you're going to be going backwards in the tax bracket, that may give you some pause. But if you don't see that happening, it makes a whole lot of sense to do it now and not have to worry about things later. Now, I would also say if you're in your 50s or if you're not going to start Medicare for a number of years, you might want to do it sooner than later, because this IRMA thing is a big thing. And just so you understand where IRMA comes into play, it's a 2-year look back. So if you're coming into Medicare at age 65, they're going to be looking at age 63 income. So you need to be thinking about this for prior to 2 years before coming into Medicare, so it doesn't affect your Medicare Part B premiums. But if you're in your 50s or early 60s, it might make a lot of sense to get everything into a Roth account, so then you don't have to worry at all about RMDs. You don't have to worry at all about IRMA. It makes a lot of sense. And I got a video coming out very shortly. I've talked about it in a couple of videos now, but I'm going to show you how to do it very easily and actually have somebody else pay the majority, if not all, of your taxes from going from a traditional plan into a Roth plan. And then you get everything put into the right bucket. You don't have anything to worry about down the road with IRMA and RMDs and things like that. Just, it makes a tremendous amount of sense. I'm very excited about it. I think you'll find it very helpful. So I hope you understand this. And just at the end of the day, if your tax brackets aren't changing, these two options are exactly the same from a withdrawal standpoint. So at the end of the day, when you get there, they're exactly the same. You either pay your taxes ahead of time or you pay your taxes at the end, but you're still paying the taxes. And it comes out to be the same number at the end of it. But I hope you found this helpful. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Look for this other video that's coming out. You'll see what I'm talking about, how we can take it and convert it and make it easy to do, very less painful than it could be, and just set you up so that you don't have any worries in the future. Hope you found this helpful. Have a fantastic day.